Intelligence Node helps e-commerce businesses convert shoppers into buyers with real-time price, assortment, and search analytic insights. Its proprietary AI-driven algorithms offer the most accurate product matching and the fastest data refresh rates in the industry. It fuels the growth of $600 billion in retail revenue globally. Learn more at intelligencenode.com. Want your company to be featured in a future Total Retail Talks episode? Contact Jennifer DePasquale at jdpasquale@navco.com. That's JDIPASQUALE at NAPCO.com for more sponsorship information.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan of Total Retail, and today I am joined by Zach Fries, who is the Senior Director of Sustainability at Walmart. We'll be talking to Zach today a little bit about Walmart's Gigaton PPA program and its recent announcement of a partnership with Schneider Electric. So thanks for joining me today, Zach.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Joe.
So as I noted, Walmart recently announced a partnership with Schneider Electric for an initiative called the Gigaton PPA program. Do you want to tell our audience a little bit about what that program entails and maybe just talk a little bit about your Gigaton project in general as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We were really excited to be able to launch that program, and it connects to our Project Gigaton goal, which that program is really designed to work with our suppliers on avoiding 1 billion metric tons of greenhouse gas between 2015 and 2030. So it's our big supply chain and kind of what we call our Scope 3 emissions target program. And we launched that program in 2017, and we're making great progress. We've got over 2,300 suppliers enrolled, and just this last year we announced that we're 230 million metric tons towards our goal. So really good start. But what the Gigaton PPA program is really designed to do is to help accelerate suppliers on their journey to reducing even more emissions, and in particular focusing on renewable energy, which we know is a big opportunity for companies to continue to reduce emissions. And our goal for that program is really just, how can we provide suppliers with information about renewable energy purchases, help line them up for getting started. And Schneider Electric has been a great partner to work with, and really, us working together, we're trying to help convene through the Gigaton banner a way to approach suppliers to present them with this opportunity to participate in this aggregation approach of contracting renewable energy, which we know can sometimes be a challenge. And so this program is really designed to try to make it as easy as possible for suppliers to get started.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that point about this. As you acknowledge, this can sometimes be a challenge, especially for these smaller to mid-sized businesses, as Walmart extends its reach across the suppliers in its supply chain. Some of these companies have been more challenged in the past in procuring renewable energy. So talk a little bit about what those challenges have been. And then maybe a second part to that, Zach, is how is the Gigaton PPA program positioned to kind of solve those challenges?
Yeah, sure. I think some of the challenges to accessing renewable energy are, especially for small and mid-sized companies, is, they don't really have the size really to approach the market individually. And they may not have the education or, the internal mechanics of what it takes to initiate a renewable energy transaction or commitment. So for us, I think, we're trying to help provide that guidance and programmatic approach to working with a partner like Schneider to look at a deal and really breaking it up into pieces that smaller and mid-sized companies can be a part of to get started. And our hope would be that companies can continue to build this muscle and work on their own to procure even more renewable energy. But this is really just a way to make renewable energy more attainable for suppliers that are participating in Project Gigaton. And so this program is available to any supplier that's currently participating in Project Gigaton, which again is around 2,300 suppliers.
Yeah, that's quite a reach and breadth to this initiative, and really the goal is to your point is to kind of give them the resources to get started, and then they can kind of manage that on their own and their use of renewable energy and their sustainability initiatives. You're kind of helping them get on the road with that, but then let them run with it once they get started. Is that kind of the idea behind it, Zach?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think, one of the things that we really hope to do is just, democratize access to renewable energy, making it attainable for any company. And I think, really getting started, learning the ropes. What does it take? How do you get your leadership bought in to setting a commitment or getting started in renewable energy purchasing? And so we hope this lowers the barrier for companies to get started.
So we've talked a little bit about the suppliers to Walmart's organization. Let's talk about Walmart itself and the organization, and a little bit about the time and the resources you've invested internally in terms of promoting the use of renewable energy across your business. So your stores, your distribution centers, your corporate offices, and whatnot. Tell us a little bit about some of the project, the initiatives in terms of Walmart itself and what you've done in this area.
Sure. And, I think we've certainly, been very familiar with what it takes to procure renewable energy. And we really started our goal in 2005. Our CEO at the time set a commitment of, and it was a really aspirational commitment. And, back in 2005, renewable energy was really a newer concept and still kind of emerging. But we set an ambitious goal of being powered by 100% renewable energy. And I think at the time we had no renewable energy purchasing activity going on. It was really just, a new concept for us. And we quickly started to work towards how we could procure more and more renewable energy. And I think right now we're at around 29% renewable energy globally use, and we've got commitments to achieve even more. And our goals are really kind of two-part, at least, of how we work towards more renewable energy in our business, and that includes on-site generation. So how we can use a Walmart facility or any owned land for something like solar, wind, or fuel cells. But then there's also a large portion that comes from offsite wind farms and direct contracts and programs where we're building capacity to the renewable energy grid to really expand the amount that is actually being produced, specifically here in the U.S. And so we know we've got a lot more work to do, and but I think at the same time we're committed to that goal. We're continuing to evaluate any new opportunity to install new renewable energy projects on our sites, and also hope to drive down the cost of renewable energy. We want this to be accessible to more and more companies, and we want to make sure that it makes good business sense for Walmart to do so, and also is good for the planet. So we've made some progress. We've got more room to go, but we certainly want to continue to be a leader in this space.
So Zach, you noted you're looking into new ways to access this renewable energy and put it to use. Are there specific examples that you might be able to cite, and ways that Walmart is using renewable energy, whether it's at its stores or other locations within the organization?
Yeah, I think one innovative example of how we're procuring renewable energy is our agreement with U.S. Solar to subscribe to 36 of their community solar gardens located throughout the state of Minnesota. And the U.S. Solar Gardens generate clean renewable energy and provide savings to Walmart in 13 separate counties. So it's a really interesting program. And beyond powering Walmart locations, the community solar in Minnesota allows businesses and public entities and residents to subscribe to the offsite solar garden without having to site solar directly on their property, which can sometimes be a barrier. So it really kind of enables subscribers to reduce their costs, their retail costs, as well as their communities, and support clean and local energy. So I think those are great programs to be a part of, and if Walmart can help, broker and bring some of these innovative concepts to communities, and through Gigaton PPA to suppliers, it's definitely something we want to be a part of.
Can you talk a little bit about, you've launched these initiatives and just trying to kind of getting the word out to consumers. This is some great work you're doing. I'm interested in how you try to communicate that to customers, and what you're doing to make them aware that this work is being done, and you're trying to improve the communities in which your stores are located.
Yeah, it's a great question, and we certainly want to be good partners in all the communities we operate in. And if you think about the global reach of Walmart, we're in over 10,000 communities, and so it's important for us to be a good partner. And I think leading with sustainability is one of the ways we want to do that. I think renewable energy is certainly an area we have been a leader, and so we want to continue. And I think with our goal of 100% renewable energy, again, we've got a lot more work to do, and we're committed to do that. And we've actually, I mentioned in 2005 we had an aspirational goal. We've just put a year on exactly when we're going to achieve that goal. So our goal is 50% renewable energy by 2025. So we've got 5 years to make that happen. And then 100% renewable energy of all of our global facilities by 2035. And so we're quickly making more progress towards that goal. And even by the end of this year, 2020, we're expected to be sourcing 35% of our electricity. So we're going to make over a 5% increase in our total electricity footprint by the end of this year. And so that's a big step in the right direction, and our goal again is to do more to help not only with our own facilities but encourage our suppliers to do the same.
You mentioned those goals that you've recently announced, and you've put a year to each of them, the 2035 being 100%. I'm interested, you've mentioned how the company is tracking against those goals in terms of its, getting to 100% of its electricity from renewable energy. I'm more interested in the, how as a team and, the systems in place that you have to monitor that progress, and, how frequently you're measuring progress and how you're communicating that to, all the stakeholders that are involved.
Yeah, sure. We publicly communicate our progress every year, and in some of our own reporting, which is annually released in our what's called our ESG report. But then we also report to CDP, and with CDP we publicly disclose all of our numbers, and we're proud. This year we were awarded an A-list company from CDP as being transparent with our goals and commitment and progress, and specifically just a couple of highlights. We're 29% towards our 100% goal this year, and again we're expected to be 35% of the way by the end of this year. And I think, speaking to that progress, over the past 2 years, we've contracted more than 1.2 gigawatts of renewable energy projects. So again, really trying to dial up and accelerate our work. And, something like, that is certainly big, but it's something we need to continue that pace in order to be able to achieve our goal. And so we'll continue trying to share those numbers and talk about it publicly and encourage others to join. And again, I think it's a good point on making sure we can communicate that effectively to our customers.
Which leads to my final question, Zach. Looking on a broader scale and ahead to the end of this year, and as we move into 2021, maybe you want to just provide a roadmap in terms of what's priority for Walmart's sustainability initiatives, and as we look ahead a little bit here.
Sure, Joe. I think this is really an important time for us. 2020 is a critical year, and we are proud to announce that we are committed to be a zero emissions company by 2040. And so, above and beyond renewable energy, which is a big part of our journey, we actually want to reach zero total emissions. And so it's a really big, bold commitment that we're stating, and we're planning on doing that without any carbon offsets. So essentially decarbonizing our business, and that's going to take obviously the commitment of renewable energy, but also things like electrifying and zeroing out emissions of all of our vehicles, include our long haul trucks, and transitioning to the low impact refrigerants for cooling, and using electrified equipment for heating, for stores, clubs, all of our data and distribution centers. So really taking a very advanced approach to decarbonization. And again, that's not just in Walmart US, that's with all of the entities we operate in.
Great. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to thank Zach Fries, the Director of Sustainability at Walmart, for joining us today on Total Retail Talks and telling us a little bit about Walmart's efforts in terms of its Gigaton PPA program and its overall sustainability initiative. So thank you for joining me today, Zach.
Absolutely. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
Intelligence Node helps e-commerce businesses convert shoppers into buyers with real-time price, assortment, and search analytic insights. Learn more at intelligencenode.com.